Happy 1 December, everybody that's jumped in. Nobody's jumped in yet. Good, because my internet's a little bit fucked up. For those of you listening to this later on audio, we will do our best to make sure that everybody can understand what the fuck is going on. 24 days till Christmas. I'm going to do some quick introductions here. Hang on a second. I'm fucking it up already. Welcome to Fire for Fact Live, 1 December. I'll introduce my guests here really quickly. My normal panel of hooligans. I have Mr. Bryce Hooper. I have Mr. Morgan Warren. And I have a special guest tonight, Mr. Wade Poloway. Wade is a local photographer in Edmonton. He's internationally recognized. You can find Wade on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll let him plug his shit at the end of this thing. Fire for Effect Live is brought to you by DeanBlundell.com. DeanBlundell.com is Canada's largest digital source for news, sports, and podcasts. You can find my podcast and a bunch of other kick-ass podcasts at DeanBlundell.com. Also brought to you by Positive Mike's Brewing Company. You can get his gear, but you can't get his beer. I can still get his beer, and I'm running out of beer, and I could certainly use some beer. Somebody's not muted. I don't know what the fuck's going on there. That's okay. Positive Mike's Brewing. Check out his gear. Go to Positive Mike's. You can find him on Instagram, Twitter, and probably Facebook. Also brought to you by JT's Bar and Grill. It's a local bar and grill in Edmonton. Wicked food, wicked drinks. They always give me good drink specials. I spent some time helping them out at Thanksgiving. Very good people. And last but not least, brought to you by Mr. Hooper Inc. This is Bryce. I'm going to fuck this up, buddy, and I apologize in advance. Bryce has been working in the community with medicinal marijuana and ketamine treatments to help veterans and anybody else afflicted with PTSD. He's going to get into more detail on that tomorrow when we actually record episode 3. So I hope I didn't fuck that up. So without further ado, let's jump into this thing. Okay, boys.
Gentlemen.
Can you hear me? We have guests. Jennifer B. Can everybody hear me?
Yep. Loud and clear.
Sean's there. All right. We've got a crowd. Thank you. First time watching. Doc Rose. Sorry I have to zoom in with my eyeballs because I'm fucking blind. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us tonight. How you guys making out? Good? Bad? Ugly? 1 December?
Rock and roll.
Are you ready for Christmas?
Is anybody ever truly ready for Christmas?
It's like Christmas. Is that this month? Or no?
Hey, I fucking love Christmas, man. I really do. I got all my shit up, my tree. I'm waiting for my batshit crazy quote-unquote daughter to come decorate the tree. That's her thing. And other than that, I think I'm ready to go. Wade, you're hitting Mexico, but you're coming back, right?
Yeah, I'll be back on the 15th. Heading down to shoot a wedding.
Oh, you're going to work.
Yeah, I'm going to work. It's a tough gig, eh? These destination weddings.
Going to Mexico for work is a bit of a bitch, you know. Well, listen, cheers. You know, we all have our crosses to bear and all that shit. So I'm sure you'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's 2 days of work and eight days of trying to find something to do down there. I'm sure
Nice.
If I don't end up in a prison, I'll come home.
Well, let us know. I've got I got a ninja here, Mr. James P. White. You want to come in and say hi to everybody?
Yeah, Jimmy can send me bail money.
Mr. James P. White from 95.7 Cruise FM.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, James, how you doing?
Also, the host, I'm going to plug him right now, of the Jedi Jimmy podcast, which you'll see in December. We were doing some demo tape tonight. Can't release that to the general public at this point, but you'll get a chance to see it later. And it's good. He did a pretty good job. We got some cool FX. It's going to be really interesting. So let's kind of dive in. Tonight, I want to get into. Okay, actually, let me caveat this. There's a few things I don't like to talk about or have discussions about. One of them is fucking gun control. because it's a never-ending conversation, and I'll get into why we're actually going to have that conversation in a little bit. And then the second is statistics. Arguing statistics is absolutely mind-numbingly, no one ever wins that conversation. But there are statistics that I'm going to show that'll help either generate never-ending discussion or maybe prove a couple points. But before we do that, we got a bit that I just started, what, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, about 2 weeks ago.
About 2 weeks ago? Oh, I didn't download a picture for my poser of the week. So I guess we're not doing that tonight. That's okay. It's going to generate enough conversation. Anyway, we have a bit called Ask an Army Guy, where I bring on a non-military guy to candidly ask any question he wants, no holds barred, because I know that the guys that you're seeing on this panel are not afraid to answer a question very, very candidly. So Wade's my guest this week. Wade, I'm gonna put you up here, big screen, and tell everybody a bit about yourself. And Wade also has a podcast called Friday Night Bitch Day. I've been on it once, and I appreciate the opportunity to be on it. And plug your shit, and then we're gonna get into the guts here.
You plugged my shit for me. I appreciate it, Chris. Yeah, Friday Night Bitch Night, available on YouTube, Facebook Live, whatever. Just us and a group of people bitching about everyday things and trying to have a good laugh to get the weekend started off on the right foot. I'm a photographer by trade. I've been doing that since 1983. I'm that old. What else been going on? Not much. That's about it. My question, though, for you guys. It's a really tough, in-depth question on the Ask an Army Guy segment of the program.
Go nuts.
I don't take life all that seriously. Life's far too fucking short to take things too seriously. First and foremost, thank you for serving our country and protecting us all. If I was in the battlefield with you and anything were to happen to you, for example, you got winged in the arm or something, I wouldn't turn and go, "Oh fuck, my God, you've been hit." It'd be more of a, "Hey dude, you're leaking." My question is this. In the times that you were under duress in the field of operations, there's always that learning moment where next time I'll do this differently. But what's the funny moment? What's the one thing you can sit back now, having been home for a while, able to decompress, and you sit back and you think of that one moment where bullets are flying and it was just one moment of hilarious looking back on it now?
That's a fucking good one. Let's just go around the board, Bryce. Let's get you in there.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
You're doing great.
So I was a truck driver in the logistics. So I never really came under fire or attack. I mean, there was a couple times we were unloading things and there was pot shots that were driven into where we were, but I never really had that scary death moment for sure. So
didn't wreck a truck or get into an accident where you can sit back now and go, "Whoa, fuck, maybe I shouldn't have done that." Or
oh,
you ever got
absolutely.
IED'd?
yeah.
No, I never got blown up myself, man. I would have to say, you know what, I'd part of like the very end of my Afghan tour. I was driving through a compound, and it had been like a 10-hour day or something silly like that. And they always say to have a ground guide through the tight spaces, because if not, you'll catch something and you'll wreck your truck and it'll take hours to get back onto line. And I thought, whatever, it's 15 feet. All I had to do was drive through the supply area, hook up to another sea container, and instead of grabbing a ground guide, I ripped the hydraulic tank right out of my PLS system, and my semi truck was grounded thereof, and then it took all sorts of hours to go back. So I guess learning on that aspect, it always takes one to have, half a second to take a ground guide. That's for sure.
No, man, you're not wrong. Not wrong at all. Morgan can definitely speak to this for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think when I was on your podcast there before, Chris, I mentioned one time in particular, and I'll bring that one up again. So, yeah, me and my sniper partner, we're going to go out on a sniper operation, do Overwatch for a coordinate search, which is going to happen the next day. So we go out 24 hours in advance, and we're snipers, we're badass, and all that good stuff that you see in the movies. We're moving in to our final fire position, to our observation post, and as you're going through like the like small villages in Afghanistan, you've got those great walls and those great putts and shit like that. So we were going to go make our way to a great putt to set up our observation post. And I slipped off a great ball. It was one of those nights with no illume at all. And it was so dark. And there have been, in the past, guys had fallen down wells and guys had drowned and things like that. And horrible shit. So I slip off this great ball and I go right down on my back. I mean, I didn't know where the hell I was going. And I'm just like, holy fuck. And Nick, my sniper partner, he's just like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. He's like, all right, man, well, shut the fuck up because you're going to get us killed, because it was, how silent it was at night. So I was just like, yeah, it was one of those things. And then I guess another one, which a lot of us experienced, like if you spend a lot of time outside the wire, when you come back to CAF, you get those rocket attacks. And people who never left CAF would be freaking out. They're like, oh my God, there was a rocket attack. And it was always like a rocket on a timer. And they'd shoot it and it would land at some random place on the airfield, which was okay, great. The alarms would go off and everybody would have to go into hiding. But then guys like myself, we'd be like, oh great, now there's going to be like no lineups at Tim Hortons. So we'd wander down to the boardwalk. We'd have a great time. And people are like, oh my God, they're like, you should be in a shelter right now. And I looked at one guy and I was like, why? I was like, the rocket already landed. I was like, this is ridiculous. I was like, would you put a condom on like after you finished having sex? I was like, this is ridiculous, and that's kind of how we viewed it. So there you go.
Absolutely. That's hilarious.
Yeah. I could not have put that more eloquently myself.
Yeah,
that was always a useless piece of thing, man.
Yeah.
Anywhere in CAF when we were there sitting around, and you were in the mess hall or you were somewhere and you had to go and run to a bunker and sit there for 15 minutes after the fact. Well, there might be a secondary. Well, fuck, there was already one that landed.
Yeah, it's time past point now, boys. Like it's over with, right?
Yeah.
We're all alive. Celebrations, high fives. Let's go to Tim Hortons.
Yeah, if you're allowed to hear that boom, you're okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Jimmy, you live in the hood. You get shot at every day, don't you? Do you want to
Speaking of gun control,
I'll fucking go last. So
I don't get shot. I just have people trying to sell me drugs.
I don't know, man.
what's wrong with that?
Listen, every time you go through his neighborhood, we have a bet going, or a running joke going with the guys in the locker room, Mr. Grant Johnson, Mr. Lachlan Cross, about as soon as you see an emergency service vehicle light up, we automatically text his group chat. And I guarantee you fucking 9 times out of 10, as soon as I'm within like 10 blocks of where he lives, which looks like an old Soviet building in East Germany.
Kazakhstan.
There's a fucking ambulance or cops.
Yeah, very nice.
Something's unnecessarily on fire, So I just thought you might have a getting shot at while you're going to the liquor store to grab a 15-pack of Lucky story.
I have been questioned by the cops while I'm waiting on the corner for a lock in the morning, but it's just that's at 4:00 in the morning when a midget's standing there with a backpack.
Just working the corner. That's all. Yeah.
I don't know. That's profiling. I disagree with it.
Okay, I think we're done.
All right, you did good. Okay, I have to, I guess, be a little bit careful here. My ex-wife, who I love dearly and we get along great, is watching this, and I lied to her like when I was deployed. Here's the thing, and Morgan, you can definitely tell. Actually, both of you, if you did a leadership course, ISCC or CLC, whatever the fuck they call it today, what you're trained to do is you're advancing to contact with your section of guys, and you come under fire. And back in the fucking 1800s, when I joined, it was double tap, dash down, sights, observe, or move, fire, or some fucking thing. Right? Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Right? And here's the thing. You always knew where the bad guy was. Ah, fuck. No, are we still here?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So you always knew where the bad guy was, right? Left at 11 o'clock, fucking 300 meters, rapid rate, go on type shit. That's not what happens in real life. In real life, and I came under contact a few times, and it wasn't these glorious battles like there's some fucking solid war heroes that have been to Afghanistan and been in real firefights. I've never been in what's called a real firefight. I never was in a position to say I engaged targets that were clearly discernible. It was very confusing. So I do remember one time where we were being engaged. Well, there's a few stories, but anyway, this is one of them. And I was asking for what's called a grit. So a grit's what any given member of a group of individuals, a team, would ask, and it stands for group, range, indication, type of target. Right, Morgan? You're the infantry expert.
Yeah.
Correct? I'm fucking this up.
Expert's loose, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah, right. And here's the reality. I'm on the PRR. I'm on the radio. We're in this kind of low ground. You know, we're protected. I'm asking for a grit, and it's fucking dead air. So, and I'm like, so you telling me nobody knows where this is coming from? Nobody can find the target. Nope. And I'm thinking to myself, and I'm laughing, going, I'm not trained for this. At this time, I got 3 fucking tours under my belt. I've been rocketed, fucking all that other shit before. And I'm sitting there going, I really have no idea what the fuck you do here. So the boys are on the radio. They're like, well, what are you going to do? I said, or what do we do? I went, well, have a smoke and just wait it out. He'll run out of ammo before we do. Long pause. And then one guy's like, are you fucking serious? That's your fucking plan? Like, yep, that's my plan. If you don't know what to shoot at, you don't shoot at nothing. You can lay down some spec fire to the fucking east, northwest, south, whatever, but it's a waste of time. So we literally sat there under fucking fire and had a smoke and waited because I did not know what else to fucking do. And we laughed about it. And eventually I was right. The bad guy ran out of fucking ammo and went home. So that's a funny story. Wade, does that kind of, let me get everybody back on here.
Hey, Chris, can you hear me?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. No, what you did kind of makes perfect sense. Like from my point of view as a sniper, if you had to like return fire at nothing, if you had been shooting in some random direction, like me, what am I going to be looking for? I'm going to look for, communication suites, crew served weapons, things like this. So if you were kind of like, ducked down behind a great wall, hacking a dart, minding your own business, I have no targets. But the instant
That's what you're doing.
The instant I see machine gun fire, I see antennas, I see, you're essentially you're giving the enemy a target. So by doing exactly what you did, it makes it sounds kind of ridiculous, at the time. But later on, you're like, yeah, well, what the fuck else was I supposed to do? Other than that, all you're doing is you're just making a lot of noise and you're giving away your position. So, it makes
it's not
sense.
what you want to do. It's not what you want to do because what you want to do is fucking get it on.
Yeah.
You want to be that first kid in your section with a confirmed kill and that grew up on the block, right?
Absolutely.
So everybody wants to get in it till you're in it, and then it's. I guess the point, Wade, and we'll come back to you to see if we've satisfactorily answered your question. Is my point is what you think you know about getting into a firefight or any kinetic fucked up situation, whether it's an IED attack, rocket attack. They prepare you, they give you all this training, all these drills, all this shit you're supposed to do, and then when it comes down to it, it's fucking chaos. And that's where your real training kicks in. Is can you make a cognizant, fucking educated, experienced, responsible decision that minimizes the risk to your team and get through it and have a laugh at the same fucking time. So that's kind of where that's my whole story. I don't know, man. Like, what do you think, Wade? Does that help you out a little bit?
Yeah, no, that's perfect. You guys all did really well on that. If I was handing out grades, you'd all get an A+ and continue on to the next grade.
Perfect. Because we'll take whatever we can get here.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the old school of Hard Knocks. You never get kicked out of it. So,
well, we still got a couple viewers, so I'm just trying to fucking make sure that we're satisfying, entertaining the audience.
And like Jennifer B says, just because you weren't in a real firefight doesn't mean you're not a hero. You guys served our country, and to me, you're all heroes. It's that simple. You know, if you can't stand behind the military, maybe you want to go stand in front of them.
There you go. That's a good bumper sticker. You can buy them.
Yep. That's exactly where I stole that from.
Appreciate.
But I'm going to jump out here, guys. I'm going to jump out. I got to go burn up some food for the wife. She just got home from work. But I'll still be watching. So
thank you for your time. Everybody, big round of applause for Wade Poloway. Check out his podcast, Friday Night Bitch Day. It's currently on Friday nights. It might be moving to another day. He's trying to, adjust his schedule accordingly. He's going to Mexico for a very grueling work thing. So thank you, Wade. And
thanks for having me, Chris. Appreciate it.
You bet, man. Okay. Till next time, brother.
Yeah. Take care, guys.
Cheers.
Yeah, have a good night, Wade.
All right, boys. We're gonna get into. Can I fucking change this? I'm still learning this shit.
Ew.
Bryce, you get to be the big guy in this.
Yeah, sure.
The man with the
little
voice.
spoon, though. Come on now, everybody likes to be held.
Yeah. So I apologize for my nervous twitches. I'm gonna get a fixed chair, so I can't do any of that shit. The first chairs I bought, these lovely IKEA Poangs, you rock in them. I had to fucking get rid of them. And then I bought this thing and I swivel in it. I watched the last one and I'm just swiveling like an asshole. So I'm like, fuck, man. I'm going to have to go back to the lawn chairs again.
Just get a shitter. You need a toilet. Sit on.
Oh, hang on. For those of you, if you look at where Morgan is sitting, look at the beautiful backdrop he's created. So for those of you that are new to this, he originally had this blue fucking Walmart cop interrogation room set up, and now he's blinged the fuck up, and that looks great. But I gotta tell you, behind the scenes, this is where he's literally in his basement shitter because it's the fucking quietest place in his house because his rugrats are running around upstairs. So Morgan is sitting right on that toilet, talking into his 1984 MacBook with his King's Crown. I shouldn't say shit because my internet connection's not so good today. Anyway, I love it. But your connection's way better today, man. It's really good. So
Perfect.
we're gonna get into a topic I honestly wanted to avoid. I wonder if I can make I want to be the big guy here.
There you go.
You're the host, homie. Yeah.
No, Bryce, you're the king of the fucking hill today. I don't know how to change this. It doesn't matter.
You guys have to grow your hair out, then you get the big
Apparently,
screen.
yeah, you got to rock that beard, grow that hair out, and get the lumberjack jacket going on.
Yeah.
So there's two things I don't like talking about. One is fucking gun control laws because it's never ending, but we're gonna go there, and I'll tell you why in a second. The second is statistics. Because arguing statistics is one of those absolutely pointless fucking endeavors that leads you down a rabbit hole where I view statistics one way and another guy reads them another way. So for those of you listening and watching, just bear with it. This is not, and my shit's not entirely accurate, right? So it's what I read it and how I interpret it. And some other guy, and if anybody who's watching this either right now live or later wants to argue with me on stats, feel free to DM me. I'll either entertain your shit or I won't. So here's what happened. I normally read my news on the shitter. Okay. I click the little news icon on my phone, usually in the morning about the same time while I'm listening to my man over here, Mr. James P. Weiss morning show, The Locker Room on 95.7 Cruise FM. From claimed to be 5:30 a.m. till 10, but it's actually from about 5:45 to 9:45. Less than 30 minutes of regurgitated shit. So, anyways, I'm just giving a hard time. That's when I read my news, and what I saw was an article from the National Post, which is actually well done. I wanted to read it out, and I can't read because my screen's too small and I'm blind. So for those of you just listening to this on Spotify or iTunes later, I will paraphrase what it says, but I'll tell you how to find the article. And what caught my eye was that the Minister of Veterans Affairs Canada was caught during question period when our illustrious fucking leader, the snowboard instructor / surfer, son of Fidel, was introducing his latest dictatorship on gun control. Anyways, the Minister of Veterans Affairs was not engaged enough to do his job, so he was caught playing solitaire. Now give me a second here, because this is fucking funny. Nope, that ain't it. Sorry.
Do we have an actual picture of this guy playing solitaire by chance?
I think it's a chick, but as Morgan, you want to?
Sorry,
We don't want to guess anymore, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
We don't. Yeah, exactly. We don't want to dead name somebody, or we don't want to assume people's genders, because we're all about inclusivity here on Fire for Effect.
So basically, as the opposition is trying to ripping, normal question period, really entertaining shit is going on. The Minister of Veterans Affairs is caught playing solitaire on his, or I don't even know who the fuck it is. I'm not going to lie to you. His or her phone, whatever. So the point of question period is for the government, the governing body of this country, answer questions and be accountable for their actions. And it really is up to the opposition.
Uh-oh. Hi, Chris.
Okay, Morgan, you cover it now, dude. You were taking notes earlier, right?
Yeah. Anyway, well, I guess just to carry on, the Minister of National Defense is Anita Anand. That's who just replaced Harjit Sajjan. So, and I believe her background is actually she's a lawyer. I'm not sure what kind of law she practices, but she is the latest Minister of National Defense. So, yeah. So interesting enough, our first day on the job, you're kind of caught playing Candy Crush. I was like, man,
wow, that's incredible.
Exactly. Like if I was teaching a class and somebody's like playing Candy Crush on their phone, I'd be like, throw that fucking phone out the door right now.
Jumping into the comments, exactly like what Jennifer says. Yeah, perfect, because no one needs to advocate for us anyways. It's exactly it, because it seems like nobody gives a fuck at all when they're in Ottawa. Once you get there, you just kind of make it and then coast on the rest of it, man.
Yeah, exactly. It's it's ridiculous. I mean, and I think that the sad thing about sometimes our Canadian politics versus American politics, I think in American politics they do a little bit better. Like whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, like a Republican will vote against Republican policies, or a Democrat will vote against Democrat policies. I mean, a perfect example I think was in West Virginia. Like they voted with a Republican, or was it Virginia? Anyway, doesn't matter. It was a Democrat voted with the Republicans because it's a coal-burning state, and
I'm back.
They do a better job of representing their constituency, whereas our politicians do a better job of towing the party line.
Absolutely.
And sometimes I think our politicians often forget that they work for us, and they should represent us, not the interest of our party. Right.
So that's the big one, dude. Yeah, I think the big thing is they should have to start wearing NASCAR outfits and wear the patches that they're being sponsored to, so that way we can chase the money. Because
Yeah.
I mean, right now everybody's just in a dirty suit, and you can't see anything on who's being influenced by what anymore.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you got the left wing and the right wing saying that they're one politic.
Yeah.
They're fighting each other. But
Yeah.
everybody's forgetting about the body. The body is
Yeah.
what's controlling those two wings, and everybody's figuring out that Fidel or Justin, sorry, is being influenced by other countries. Obviously,
Absolutely.
No idea what happened there. I'm gonna throw this new Wi-Fi extender in the fucking dump.
That's okay.
Anyways, we'll struggle through it. So
Yeah.
I just thought it funny that the minister that's supposed to be representing veterans was playing solitaire, and it's not his or her fault. To me, that's because the opposition wasn't hitting that person with the hard questions on why there's a massive backlog of fucking Veterans Affairs claims, yada yada yada. However, that is not tonight's conversation. We'll save that for another day. So what they did do was introduce some new gun control laws. I'm going to bring this shit up. So the National Post, which is where the previous screenshot came from, shows another gun ban that also probably won't do anything. They're showing a bunch of guns that were seized out of the U.S. Sorry, illegal guns that were seized from the U.S., right? So most of these fucking gun crimes are from illegal guns that came across the border. But what our guy wants to do is continuously ban guns,
military styled weaponry,
military style assault weapons. Now let's caveat this in advance. If you the listener think for 1 minute that because I wear camo, I'm a white guy with a short haircut, I'm ex-military, I drive a pickup truck, I live in Alberta, and I was ex-military, I probably said that already, and I worked in oil and gas, that I am an advocate for fucking firearms rights, you are absolutely fucking correct. You bet your balls. Right? And we'll get into that. So that's the first thing. So they get into this article here, and they talk about now what he's saying now is he's banned military assault style. I don't know what the fuck that means, even though he doesn't understand mechanism, how guns work, blah, blah, blah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Basically, it's like, to me, it's like hashtag BGM, Black Guns Matter. Just ban black guns because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Just go
now,
what
he's saying now is he's gonna devolve it to the provinces and the municipalities to, at your discretion, ban handguns, which make up for a large percentage of gun violence, and we'll jump into that later on. Okay, right on. So he's kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and that's what he wants to do now. And this is what, and there's the good news, and of course you can read the bad news. Apologize to the people that are listening to this later, but basically that's what they're saying. The good news, I'm going to try to read this, so bear with my squinting, I'm blind. While assault-style firearms always represented a tiny fraction of the guns used in crimes, the opposite is true guns. Last year, half of Canadian gun homicides were committed with a handgun. So the feds are finally addressing the category of firearms that actually has some relation to the problem they're purporting to solve. Fair enough. Bad news. A wildly disproportionate number of handguns used in Canadian crimes are smuggled in from the United States, as I alluded to earlier, and thus unaffected by any ban. Earlier this month, Toronto Police Chief James Raymer identified illegal U.S. guns as the single largest factor affecting the city's rising rates of crimes, with nearly 4 in 5 Toronto crime guns originating in the United States. So does it not feel like wasting money on this fucking buyback program, which will cost billions, to take my AR-15 from me, versus putting money funding the police forces to, not focus on responsible gun ownership and focus on illegal guns coming across the border would make the most sense. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it's 100%. It's absolutely ridiculous. I
Now,
mean,
do you own guns?
Yeah, of course
Morgan?
I do. I mean, yeah, what kind of does bear shit in the woods? Of course I do.
Yeah,
Are they
Uh,
hidden it?
like-
yeah.
He has them behind his shitter. You can't see them.
I
In
got
the secret wall.
I got them all in the flush box, boys. But no, it's like you said, we're all we don't have a gun problem. We've got a problem with guns coming, illegal guns coming across the border. So instead of hassling law-abiding gun owners, shouldn't we be, like I said, pumping that money into like CBSA to try to control the entry points coming into Canada? Because I mean, the United States, God love it, God love the Second Amendment, but I mean, they've got enough guns to arm like every man, woman, child, and all their family pets. Like 2 times over, and good on them. They're fortunate. But yeah, exactly. We're focusing all of our time and our efforts and our money, and we're demonizing a part of society that are statistically, if we want to talk about statistics, the most law-abiding citizens in the country. According to Stats Can, a Canadian gun owner, like legal, like licensed gun owner, is less likely to commit a violent crime than an off-duty police officer.
There you go. Now, while you're on that, and Bryce, I'll come back to you because you don't own any guns, correct?
No, and I am completely opposite to the way you guys both think. Is I believe, especially anybody we don't have a gun problem in this country, and not to spout off and take over, Chris. We have a mental health problem, and we have
100%. 100%.
Agreed.
We have guns
Agreed.
in the wrong hands. We have weapons in the wrong hands. We have people who should be monitored and don't. At the same time, I don't have a gun personally because I find that they're too impersonal. If I had a problem with somebody, I've got 2 perfectly good hands that I like to use, and I like to get physical myself if I have to. Where I find if I had a weapon in my house, I'd probably be dead. Just because of my depression and my post-traumatic stress. I know myself, I don't deserve a weapon in my house because I'd be that guy who would use it improperly, for sure.
But you have the wherewithal the mental capacity and wherewithal to recognize that, right? And that's fair.
Absolutely, man.
And that's good because what you're driving at is the U.S. problem, which I'm intimately aware of. My dad had a family vacation home in Arizona, which has some of the loosest gun laws in the United States. So let's think about this, since we're talking about control, and I don't want to use that word too strongly. To me, as military men, we are all competently trained and adequately proficient as a minimum on how to use firearms safely and properly.
Absolutely.
Now, here's the thing. What do you need to get a gun in Arizona? Because I had guns in Arizona. I had guns in Arizona when down there that would be considered prohibited or illegal up here. Basically, what you need is a fucking driver's license, and you can walk in and walk out with an AK-47. Now,
Holy
okay,
shit.
that's fine. That's
shit,
great.
man.
That's the way they think. But here's the thing. Where am I going with that?
Compared to
If-
access
if-
here, is that where you were?
So if you need a driver's license to go buy a gun, and that's all you need, and you walk out, there's no competency testing. There's no background checks. Just fucking walk in, buy a gun. You can go to the flea market behind the Legion, Post 81 in Lake Havasu City, Arizona on Saturdays, and Billy Bob's selling off his whatever, insert gun name here. But to get the driver's license, what do you have to do? What do you have to do up here? You have to go take a learner's test, written test. Then you go, probably if it's in your best interest, take driver education training or go do an exam. After that, a practical exam to get your driver's license, including another written test, right? And today it's on a graduated system. So there's more checks and balances in place in a state like Arizona to buy a gun, or sorry, to get a driver's license than there is to buy a gun. So that's America. Let's get back to Canada.
Okay, Chris, I'm gonna like a little bit of a counter. So yeah, great. Like you only need a driver's license to get to buy a firearm, purchase a firearm in Arizona or in a lot of places in the United States. So, and in Canada, there's significantly more checks and balances. The issue is the vast majority of gun crime in Canada are being committed by people that aren't following any of these checks and balances anyway. So even in the States,
Absolutely.
bad people are going to do bad things. You can make up as many. Guess what? Murder is already illegal. Theft is already illegal in the United States as well. So whether you can have even stateside, they have thousands of laws on the books with regards to how to purchase and how to own and how to store firearms. So I guess what I'm trying to say is you cannot legislate people into fucking morality. If you are a bad person and you're hell bent on doing bad things, whether you're going to use a knife, a gun, a truck, like we've seen in Europe, you're going to do it. So the fact that you could just walk in and you can show somebody a fake ID and get a gun is absolutely irrelevant to how somebody should going to act. Good people are going to do good things. Bad people are going to do bad things. Full stop.
You're not wrong. Absolutely. But I have no problem with our current system on obtaining and owning a firearm. So to own a firearm,
I do.
Well, we'll come back to that.
Okay.
A possession and acquisition license, formerly an FAC, which is a firearms acquisition certificate. You have to do a background check, blah, blah, blah. If you have to do a fucking competency test, to me, that's normal. We had to do that in the military.
Yeah.
The minute the fucking one of the first things you did on basic training under whatever name it was learn how to use. How many guys here are FNC1 guys? I am. Nobody? Okay, fucking I won't date myself anymore. C7A1 back in the day. You had to learn all your fucking basic drills, basic handling, how to shoot. You go to the range, how to safely operate that weapon on a range, and then you go up through your levels of what we call PWT today, right? So I have no problem that some fucking civvy has to do a 2-day fucking course to get a restricted, unrestricted license. So tell me what you don't like about that system, Morgan.
Okay. The thing is that you're kind of broad brushing it, and those points I don't necessarily disagree with. But so to go along with that, as part of your paperwork, you have to fill out I think it's the last all your conjugal partners for the last decade. Now, also right now, as a non-restricted restricted gun owner, the what's the word I'm looking for here? In order to maintain this license, police can actually come and they can essentially inspect my home without any type of warrant at any time of day. Actually, that's a lie. They have to give 24 hours notice or something like that, and they can come into my house without a warrant from a judge, and they can go through my house anytime. Another thing. As restricted firearms
to be fair,
owners,
you got your shitter set up like a bunker. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah, fair enough. Yes, I am crazy, but that's for next week. But the other thing is, so as firearms owners, our names get run through a national crime database every 24 hours to make sure we haven't committed a crime. So in the event that we have committed some type of crime, some type of assault, our firearms can be taken away from us. Okay, fine and dandy. They actually wanted to have a similar system set up for sex offenders, and they decided that was against their constitutional rights in Canada. That infringed on who they were as people. But here I am, never committed a crime in my life, Mr. Law-abiding citizen, but because I own a gun, I'm a bad person, and my name can get run through a registry, my name can get run through a criminal database, and the police can search my home without a warrant every day of the week. But an actual registered sex offender, no bueno. Sorry, that's against their rights as a human being.
That's horrendous, dude. That doesn't make any sense at all.
Just saying.
Yeah. Well, that tells you where there's more hidden pedophiles in government, obviously, than that are controlling that.
Still there, Chris?
Yeah, I was just kicking some Nazi off the fucking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
See that?
See that? He went pretty good. Yeah.
I don't know how these fucking pricks do it, man. But some fucking Zieg Heil cunt came on.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Anyway,
See,
and I don't know how to boot guys.
Yeah. exactly. If we had a Second
Jen,
Amendment, we
you
could sort
missed
this
it.
guy
Jen,
out.
there's some Nazi spammer came on, so I had to fucking
Yeah.
deal with that.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I understand what you're saying, and we could go down that rabbit hole forever. All right.
Absolutely.
But here's my real itch with this, because I hate this fucking conversation. Is we agree we're responsible gun owners. We agree that the microscope is on us, and the lack of focus on illegal guns being used in crimes is a problem. So
Yeah.
so I decided to do a bit of research today, and I'm not going to lie to everybody. It's kind of skimming research. So I went right to the fucking source, right to the government website, the liberal-driven government website, and I found some interesting fucking shit here. No, that's not it. Okay, there we go. So for those of you that are listeners only, this is right off the Government of Canada's gun website, Google Gun Control Canada. You'll see it. And on the splash page, obviously this is chopped up, shows gun violence is on the rise, and it's in big giant fucking letters, because what they're hoping is that your average user has the attention span of a fucking sleep deprived monkey, and they read the splash page, and what it says is 81%. This is a key number. Everybody here watching, remember this, or listening. 81% is the increase in violent offenses. I'm emphasizing the word violent offenses involving guns since 2009. There's a footnote number 1, which is a link. You can click to it. We're coming back to that. Number 2, 1 in 3 homicides in Canada that are firearms related. 47%. This is the third one. Proportion of Canadians who feel gun violence is a threat to their community. Well, I wonder what that percentage is educated. All Canadians are affected by this issue. Gun violence impacts people and communities across Canada. It happens in urban, suburban, and rural communities across every province and territory, in all age and socioeconomical groups, among those who own guns and those who do not. Now, let's come back to this 81% number. So I dug into that. I clicked footnote number 1, and here's what came up. I might fuck this up, so just give me a minute. Nope. Here. So this is table 1. Police reported crimes for selected offenses, Canada 2018 and 19. They're not caught up. COVID. Fuck, I don't know why. Governments move slow. Anyways, the header is type of offense. 2018, the number and the rate. 2019, the number and the rate. And then the changes in rate from 18 to 19. Okay? And it's this huge long table. And if you go to the website, you can see it. Now, what's funny is the only fucking line item that I could find that matched, that 81 number up there in the left, 81%, was this line item here. Firearms, use of, discharge, pointing. There's your 81%. Okay, so work with me here. If I go from here, 81% violent offenses, to here, this is fucking bullshit. They're skewing statistics, because illegal use of a firearm might mean that you brought a restricted weapon to Buddy's farm and had a fucking range day, not a legal range. Discharge means maybe some asshole had an ND in his bedroom, and pointing, that does not indicate violent crime. So some fucking spinster or spinmeister, whatever you want to call them, decided to turn that line item. And you again, I encourage people to go to the website and scroll through all of the crimes that are illustrated here. But this is exactly where that line item comes from. On one hand, it says violent offenses. That's on the splash screen. And they're assuming you don't fucking actually dig into this. And then when you actually go to the line item that references it, completely different thing. Now, wait, there's more. I dug in and hit footnote number 2. Also, government website. Firearm-related homicides are down after 4 consecutive years of... sorry, I got a bunch of shit in the way of this thing. What does that say? They're down, right?
Yeah.
This is on the same fucking webpage. It's on the same web page, right?
Yeah.
Those statistics are actually in line with the United States as well.
I know.
Crimes in violent crimes on the whole shot, whether it's through any type of use of force, any type of weapon at all, since the mid '70s has decreased. Whether it's getting in a fight, stabbing somebody, shooting somebody, running somebody over in a car, it doesn't matter. Violent crime has actually decreased significantly since the 1970s in Canada and the United States.
Yeah, it's just a way for the government to skew.
And I don't disagree with that. What I'm pissed off about is that they throw up a fucking splash page. And again, I've said this before, your average Canadian, with the way our minds work and social media and how fast news is given to us, has the attention span to maybe make it through a fucking Lay's potato chip commercial. So they just go to this page, and if you're you don't own guns and you're a left guy, that's fine. But you read this. This is on the main page, and you buy into that fucking number. You're being bullshitted by your government. You're being bullshitted by your government, which I know may come as a shocker. I hope everybody's sitting down while they're listening to this or watching this. But I was willing to be impartial on this. Yes, I'm a gun owner. Yeah, I like my guns. I like to hunt. I've been brought up with guns my whole fucking life, and I like sport shooting. I like target shooting. I like hunting. All that wonderful stuff doesn't make me a bad guy. So that pisses me off when I see a line like that, which contradicts the actual crimes, and I'll kind of park it there. Yeah. So who the fuck is standing up for us? Well, the NRA is a U.S. thing, and they're full of fucking absolute nutcases, okay? The Charlton Heston from my cold dead hands shit, that doesn't necessarily fly up here. There is an organization who I'm part of just recently called the Canadian Coalition for Firearms Rights. And there's their vision statement. I'm going to read this out for everybody. The Canadian Coalition for Firearms Rights is a volunteer organization representing the Canadian firearms owning community. Our vision is to maintain, protect, and promote private firearms ownership. We will accomplish our vision by engaging in the following efforts. Inform and educate the Canadian public about current firearm laws and regulations and their effect on our society. It's good. Provide support and accurate information to media and government concerning firearm issues, policies, and regulations, including social impacts. Promote human rights in Canada as they apply to the defense of persons and property and rights. Now, we're going to talk about that in another show because getting into human rights regarding the self-defense is a fucking Pandora's box that we do not have time for tonight.
Yeah, especially in Canada, yeah.
And on Dean's network, he's got a lawyer guy that he has on who's a criminal lawyer in Ontario. And I'm looking to get that guy on because when you get into that criminal code section 34 shit on self-defense, fuck, man, you got to be smarter than me to understand what that says. So I want an actual expert to weigh in on it and then to take that guy's conversation and put it in the mind of a military guy. Anyway, I'll keep going. And lastly, is to promote an inclusive nature of firearms-related activities and culture in Canada. The CCFR has grown into Canada's most effective and recognizable firearm rights organization. We host Canada's only in-house registered lobbyists, specializing solely on the firearms file with the politicians at all levels of government. You can count on the CCFR to be your voice in Ottawa. Gun owners have suffered 30 years of bad branding in the media. Keywords there, bad branding in the media as well, which is why having sophisticated, professional, respected advocates is making all the difference for our image. To me, she's a tough climb. We gun owners represent about 1% of the population of the country, so good fucking luck. But anyway, I'm behind.
The most well-behaved 1%, just saying.
That's right. We are the public relations experts in the firearms community. So, I mean, it's an uphill battle. We're not fucking winning it right now. I woke up one day and one of a firearm I owned, legally owned, responsibly stored and kept under control. I'm adequately trained and competent with that gun, is now a prohibited weapon. And I don't want to hear, I'm going to go back to the chat in case some fucking lefties jumped on. Where'd my nasty buddy go? I guess he's gone.
Military biker and Sean Ellis and Jennifer B are all there.
Yeah.
That tanker from overseas somewhere.
Who's the military biker? Fucking hey, thanks for jumping on, man. Sorry, I can't type and run this thing at the same time, but the boys might jump in.
He rides a motorcycle out of Suffield.
I fucking lost my train of thought. Somebody help me out here. Come on,
I think
Maury.
we're just. Oh yeah. Well, you were just talking about like you woke up one morning and then your AR-15 was now prohibited. And if you look at the timing for that, I mean, this is like absolutely horrible. So this was right after the massacre in Portapique, Nova Scotia.
That's where I was going to go.
To go back to if we were and the Liberals capitalized on that. They're like, this is our opportunity to remove firearms from legal gun owners.
Yeah.
And people, someone might look at me now and be like, "Yeah, you're just you're right out to lunch." And I'm like, "Well, no, because look at the shooter, look at that criminal. He was not legal. He was prohibited from even having a PAL or an AirPAL, so a possession acquisition license. All of his guns were illegally obtained. Like I said, he was prohibited from even having a license. So he killed 22 people died that day. And so they're banning these weapons, which are going to affect Chris, it's going to affect me, and it's going to affect you. But everybody out there listening, ask yourself one question. Any of these new laws that are trying to pass, or any of these gun bans, if these guns had been prohibited, or these laws had been passed prior to that shooting in Nova Scotia, would it have made 1 inch of difference?
No, it's still illegal.
Everyone's gun was fucking illegally obtained.
Yeah, so if the answer is no, what is behind the curtain? Why are they trying to take these guns away from me and you, who are not only, Chris, are we law-abiding citizens, essentially we have our life of service. We've pledged our lives, our families' lives, everything we've done is for this country. But now you're telling me, sorry, you are not responsible enough to own a firearm, which you've owned for your entire life, or a decade, or however long each and every person has owned it. And you've passed all the background tests. You've done everything we've asked you and then some. But sorry, turn it in.
He's taking a page out of his father's book.
And why is it the Liberal government always does these the gun grabs? Why is that?
And we look at every society in history that's taken guns away from their citizenry.
Yep.
Mao did it in China. What happened? They say 60 to 120 million people
Million.
dead.
Exactly.
Millions. Pol Pot in Southeast Asia. He killed 1/3 of his population after he disarmed them. Same thing happened in the Philippines. Same thing happened in Nazi Germany.
Yeah, absolutely.
When people are disarmed, they can't do anything.
To be fair, first rule of a dictatorship is disarm the country. If I'm fucking wrong, tell me now.
Right? Yeah.
No, it absolutely.
So I don't want to wear a tinfoil hat.
No, and he's already been caught bragging about how he owns the media already with his $500 million donation to them. Yeah. So it's not like he already brags about the rest of it. So this isn't a conspiracy theory. This is wide open. And he's doing it publicly now with laws that are making zero sense to guys that are some of them. I personally, if you have the proper training and you can endorse that weapon, I say carry it openly.
Yeah.
But we don't have enough people who access weapons who have zero training, and they go off of attitude all of a sudden. And then you've got egos walking around doing this, and that's the last thing anybody needs, because I don't need to be shot in the back at a bank or at a restaurant or at a grocery store because some asshole thinks that he's better than me.
Yeah. Even when you look at the United States and you look at gun crime in the United States, a lot of the blue states with the most stringent, with the toughest gun laws. So look at New York, Illinois, California. They have so if you like Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, they have higher rates of gun crime than Austin, Texas, Houston, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia, Phoenix, Arizona.
People won't be afraid of them because they're willing to use them properly there. That's right.
During the height of the Iraq War, more Americans were killed annually in Chicago than were killed in Baghdad. And in Chicago, in Illinois, you're not allowed to carry a gun. That wasn't happening in Austin, Texas. That wasn't happening in Phoenix, Arizona. That wasn't happening in Gainesville, Florida, where everybody and their grandma can pack heat if they want to. Why?
Yeah. And openly as well. Yeah. because I think everybody at that point then respects the fact that if you're going to brandish a weapon, everybody else is going to be carrying the same thing. Whereas in an area where it's so scary to see something like that in public, where you go overseas to somewhere like Jerusalem, where it's an open carry, where everybody, man, woman, and child have weapons, and they're usually slung over their shoulder.
Well,
right?
I mean,
and you'll
again,
training and
just hang
more.
on, guys, hang on. I don't want to fucking get into that shit, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, I will leave a segue, and then we're gonna move on, and we're gonna
Okay.
How can I set this up? So to kind of talk about to catapult off what you're saying without going down the rabbit hole. So I'm contradicting myself already. Just 2 days ago, or yet was it yesterday?
You're allowed to.
Yesterday, some fucking nutcase robbed a bank in North Edmonton, not far from where I live, and ended up breaking into a house, taking a hostage, and then, thank God, this is where it diverges. Let the hostage go. The cops finally went in. Buddy was dead. So you know how that happened. You don't have to be a fucking, a brain surgeon to figure that out. Now, what if it would have went the other way? Like, which happens all the time. Not all the time up here, but it happens all the time.
Yeah, where the hostage was the one who was taken at that point. Exactly.
I'll leave you with a fucking parable or an anecdote. People are sheep. Oh, I said it. Not anti-vax, not the vax crap. Okay, Sean, I know you're watching this.
I love you, Sean.
Listen,
I love you, Sean.
The bad guys are wolves. And what they want you to do is, hey, if there's a problem and the wolf's coming after you, is you call the shepherd. That's the police. But here's the thing. Here, I'm going to leave you with this, and then we're done with this conversation until the next pod. We can continue this.
Okay.
When fucking seconds matter, the police take minutes. When minutes matter, the police take hours. So that I'll leave you there. I'll leave everybody watching this or hearing this later. That's the reality of life. Make your own decisions, and we're going to come back to it. I do want to beat up on this fucking clown Veterans Affairs minister.
Let's do it.
If you guys got the time.
Oh yeah, I got time.
A little bit. So
you can roll. Let's see it.
This fucking numpty's playing solitaire in question period when all this gun laws are being passed. Is that person's fault or the opposition's fault? What do you think?
Yeah. Both.
Bryce?
Well, yeah, you'd also think that somebody in that kind of a position would hold themselves to a little bit more of a standard of professionalism and wouldn't be touching their phone while somebody else was speaking, let alone in a position where they're influencing, government positions. You'd think that their position would be held to a little bit of a higher standard where there wouldn't be solitaire. Let alone, like, I could see, okay, you're checking your email or there's a group chat going on with your party discussing ongoing things that they want to bring up and somebody's being tagged on it. But if you're eating a granola bar and you're fucking straight up caught doing it, it's no different than playing your solitaire. You obviously don't give a fuck, and you should be relieved of your position. And there should be somebody put in that spot who then can do the job properly and who actually may give a fuck about the position that they're holding.
I didn't even know solitaire was still a thing, but apparently it is.
Yeah. Well, it obviously ages that person as well. Just like you're obviously in a space where you don't care about anybody around you to the point where you're not even checking who's behind you before you pull up what's on your phone. You know, thank God it wasn't fucking porn, heaven forbid, with everything else that's going on lately. That could have tagged it a lot easier. Like, oof.
Well, you're absolutely correct. It's just, to me, it's okay. This fucking Anna, what's her name? Whatever. It's this lady now.
Yeah, Anita and Ann.
They'll sweep it under the rug. They're very good at that. But at the end of the day, if the Minister of Veterans Affairs is in question period, and I don't know how long it lasts. Like, I don't watch that. It's boring. I don't watch fucking politics. I only read the news now because I kind of need to run this fucking podcast, right? But to me, it's like if the opposition called that individual out, why are you not engaging in the conversations that need to be had? There are a million fucking things that Veterans Affairs is trying to do right, under-resourced, under qualified, under managed, like every other government organization. And there's a million things they're doing wrong, and it's up to the opposition to call that out. So if this person's playing solitaire, my fucking point is this. Clearly, the opposition, who I voted for, is not engaging that minister or that government and holding them to account for their failings.
Oh, so
To
they've been bought out?
quantify and qualify, like, why are you not dealing with the backlog of fucking VAC claims? Or why are you not, what are you doing to attack the veterans on the street, Bryce, which we're going to get into tomorrow, right? Like all this shit. And I'm not here to shit on Veterans Affairs as a whole, because they're a government, like I've said before, and I'll say it again, they're a government organization. They're not the fucking worst thing in the world. They can be better. Actually, my VAC rep called me yesterday doing a wellness check. I greatly appreciated that. Her name's Twyla. She's a gem. I was busy, didn't answer. I'll call her back. So I got a lot of good things to say about them. But collectively, there's a lot of shit that needs to be worked on. And if the minister has the time to play solitaire, it means they don't, A, give a fuck, and B, the opposition is low on their fucking radar to attack that problem. And I'll park my comments fucking there. Morgan, any thoughts on that?
Like you said, who's responsible? Like the governing party or the opposition? And I said both. Like you said, like, I mean, the minister is sitting there not giving a shit, not taking her job very seriously. If I showed up to orders and I was, not 5 minutes early, I didn't have a pen and paper, and if in the middle of orders, my company commander's giving orders, the battalion commander's giving orders, and someone's there looking at their phone, a sergeant at the very would come up and just smack it out of your hand, and you'd find yourself on extra duties. Like you know better than to do that as a master corporal in the infantry, as a corporal in the infantry. Like, you don't show up to orders and you're all distracted. And like you said, but then on the other hand, you've got the opposition. Well, they didn't even really call it out. So they're almost like party to the offense. Which is why I guess in the last election I didn't vote conservative, nor did I vote liberal. I was a guy who voted for Max Bernier because my entire life, my entire adult life, I've been a very pragmatic voter, and I've always voted conservative. And finally, I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to vote my conscience, because I don't like the direction that the Conservative Party is headed right now. I was like, because I want somebody that's going to go in there and upset the apple cart. And is Max Bernier a bit of a madman? Absolutely. But maybe that's what we need. Because all we're getting right now is just more of the same old bullshit. At least Max, crazy as he is, he's different.
Hey, we can all agree we're in a stalemate. We're in a fucking stalemate, and there's going to be no forward movement in the government. So
absolutely,
that's enough. We've captivated the imagination thus far of everybody. We've weighed in on. I don't want to even fucking talk about gun control again, because it never ends.
Nah, it's never ending.
Yeah. I do want to talk about. We will talk about in the next few weeks, when I can get a lawyer on. Self-defense laws in Canada, which ties into guns, obviously.
Yeah.
I want to talk about how military people are trained in relation to what the law allows for and how convoluted and fucked up it is versus castle laws in the States that we don't have here, blah, blah, blah. But I think that's enough. So I want to thank you gentlemen for your time. I'm sure Morgan, your ass is getting sore sitting on that shitter. I gotta show that graphic one more fucking time.
One more time. It never gets old. But hey, it looks
makes
good from
my
my
day.
point of view now, right?
It fucking looks awesome. It really does, man.
Yeah.
And Bryce, thank you for your time. Myself and Bryce will be recording episode 3. Finally, we've been trying to put it together for a while, schedules and shit. Tomorrow morning, and Bryce is gonna come on and tell you some really interesting shit about everything he's got going on in his life. So
nice.
Thank you very much for your time, gents. Thank you very much for everybody that tuned in tonight, or that's watching this, or listening to this later, or watching it on YouTube. You can find it on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, maybe some other places. I have to check with the magic behind dblendell.com, Mr. Chris Rook, of where the fuck he's sending all this shit. Thanks, gents. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Again, Fire for Effect Live, part of the dblendell.com network. Thank you, Positive Mike, for all that beer you got coming for me. Thank you, Newfie Steve down at JT's Bar and Grill for the beer you got coming for me. Thanks, Bryce. I don't know, bring a box of beer or some weed. Not that I don't have enough weed. And thank you, everybody. And we are a fucking wrap.